One of my absolute favorite travel hacks is not checking a bag. Packing carry-on only is one of the easiest ways to save time and money while traveling. And only using carry-on luggage can seem daunting at first, but if you figure it out, it's actually very easy. In this video, I'm going to share 9 simple carry-on packing tips to make carry-on packing easy and help you avoid ever having to pay to check your luggage again. Hey guys, Nick here from Away Together. I've taken hundreds of flights, and my wife Allie and I have traveled carry-on only to 20 plus countries in the last handful of years. And it's great because we save like $50 per bag each way by not checking. Not to mention, we never have to wait in line. When we get to the airport, we don't have to go to a counter to check in. We just head straight to security, and we arrive at our destination, we step off the plane, and just go. If that sounds good to you, here's exactly how to do it. First up, you need to know the airline's rules. So there's no one right way to travel carry-on only, but there are rules and stipulations that you have to understand. These rules and measurements that I'm about to share are gonna serve you well 90% of the time, but they are rules of thumb. So please check with the airline that you're flying to make sure you know their exact stipulations. Most airlines allow carry-on bags up to 22 inches by 14 inches by 9 inches, although I've seen this shrinking. Many international carriers have weight restriction for carry-on bags too, which is something that most domestic US flyers are not used to. It's somewhere in the 7 to 10 kilogram range, which is approximately 15 to 22 pounds. You're also typically allowed to bring what's called a personal item bag, which has to be able to fit under the seat in front of you. The measurements here vary wildly by airline. I've never had someone measure my personal item, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look up the rules specific to the airline that you're flying. By the way, personal item bags, your jacket, anything that isn't your carry-on luggage isn't meant to go in the overhead bin. Overhead bin space is a common space. It's first come, first serve. There's basically never enough room for everyone's bag. There's no guarantee that everyone will even get to place their bag up there. So, don't take up more of that space than you need with things that aren't supposed to go up there. And hey, real quick, I would love it if you'd consider hitting that like button so that YouTube will know to suggest it to other travelers like you. Thank you. Okay, now that you know the rules, let's talk about what bag you're bringing. Choosing the right bag for you is really a matter of personal preference, and there's several questions that you'll want to answer. The first question is, backpack or suitcase? Backpacks are great for carry-on travel because they lend themselves well to mobility and they allow you to go hands-free. They're great for trips with uneven terrain or where you aren't simply going from airport to taxi to hotel. It's easier to freestyle with a backpack. I recently carried everything I needed for a 10-day trip to Europe, including my camera equipment for this YouTube channel, in this nomadic McKinnon bag. For years, my go-to bag was the Osprey Porter 46. And what you'll notice with these backpacks is that they lay flat and unzip like this. I'd avoid the top-loading kind of backpacks personally because they're really hard to keep organized. Now, the biggest con with a backpack is that you have to carry the backpack. Not everybody wants to do that, and not everybody can. Suitcases, on the other hand, offer a lot in terms of comfort because you can simply roll it beside you or pull it behind you. Suitcases tend to be more likely to have internal organization as well. If you're bringing a suitcase, there are several more questions that you've got to answer. Soft-sided versus hard-sided, 2 wheels or 4, pocket or no pocket, all kinds of things, and it's really a matter of preference. The bag I'm showing you here is the Luminous Textured Carry-On by Level 8 Cases. And in an unpaid, unbiased review of some of the top hard-sided suitcases on the market, this one got my Best Bang for Your Buck award. Coming in at just over that $160 mark, it's practically half the price of some of its competitors. Yet the size and the weight are spot on for carry-on requirements, and it has, I'm not joking, the smoothest spinner wheels I have ever pushed on a suitcase. Now, while this bag doesn't have every single bell and whistle that you could get in a more expensive bag, it has every essential covered. It's got a sturdy, lightweight polycarbonate shell, TSA-approved locking zippers, internal organization, a smooth telescoping handle, and a lifetime warranty. I personally like that this bag has clean lines, no frills, and it's just a simple quality, what you see is what you get piece of luggage. And that's been my experience with Level 8 Cases as a company in general. If you're looking into hard-side luggage and you want something that will last, but you don't want to spend $200, $300, $400, I would definitely check this bag out. Level 8 makes all kinds of other bags. Also, last year I took a couple of trips using their aluminum carry-on, and I really liked the zipperless design. If you want to check out Level 8 cases, I negotiated a special deal for Away Together subscribers. If you use the link in the description below, you'll get an additional 10% off your order. And guess what? We're giving away this exact piece of luggage. You can check out the description below this video for more info. The last question you'll need to answer is one bag or two? Are you trying to fit everything you're bringing into one single carry-on bag? Or are you also going to bring a personal item bag? I've done both, and what I choose to do really depends on my trip. If you bring a personal item with you and you're pushing a suitcase, you can wear the personal item, of course, or you can set it on top of your roller bag. Just make sure the personal item that you've brought has what's called a trolley pass-through, so it will slide over the telescoping handle. This is what I did when Allie and I traveled full time. We chose the 2-bag strategy because we were hauling a bunch of camera equipment around, and I wanted to keep that gear handy in my personal item bag just in case I ever had to check my luggage. If you're trying to 1-bag it with a suitcase, I'd recommend opting for one with pockets so that you can quickly access the things that you need. Now, believe it or not, there's actually a couple of sneaky ways to bring a 3rd bag with you. Look at this clip. I want you to count the number of bags that my wife Allie has. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is a sling bag. My wife carried this exact one to 17 countries when we were traveling full time. She wore it on 30 plus flights and no one batted an eye. And the reason is small slings like this, fanny packs, things like that, when worn, are technically viewed as if they're apparel or simply part of your outfit. I don't personally do this, but if you don't have pants pockets, for example, this can be an easy way to store things like your phone, your keys, stuff like that. Another sneaky way to get an extra bag that I do employ is to utilize a packable day pack. Bringing a packable day pack with you is an easy way to enjoy the benefits of having a small backpack while you're out and about and not having to lug your suitcase or your backpack around. I like this little one by Osprey because it packs down crazy small, which makes it really easy to fit into your luggage. This is great for casually throwing in an extra jacket, carrying your picnic, your groceries, etc. Okay, now that we've got the bags out of the way, let's talk about what to pack and how to pack them. Packing carry-on only is a little tougher than checking because it requires more intentionality. The most surefire way to avoid packing and to ensure that you don't forget important things that you need is to use a packing checklist. When it comes to the items that you choose to bring, opt for things that are multi-purpose and not single use. Example, a jacket that can be used as a pillow on a flight or a train ride. A scarf that can be used as a blanket or a shawl. This portable power bank has a little kickstand so that you can prop up your phone to charge it while you're watching the movie that you downloaded for the flight. When it comes to clothing, pack as if you'll dress in layers because big jackets and thick, heavy sweaters take up a lot of space. Avoid bringing shoes that can be only used in one single application. Shoes take up a lot of space, and I'd plan on wearing your biggest pair on the plane to free up space in your luggage. Find a small or packable version of things like lightweight puffers or rain jackets that pack into themselves. And just hack away the unessentials. Leave things that you're not going to use at home. Kit and compartmentalize. Compartmentalizing your bag helps you stay organized, and when everything has a home, it's easier to pack, it's harder to forget things, and it's quicker to access the things that you need. I have 3 main kits, if you will: clothes, toiletries, and tech. I use packing cubes for most of the clothing I pack because they make it easy to organize and compartmentalize what I bring and group like items together. I'll typically have 1 cube for my main tops, 1 for workout gear, and 1 for socks and undies. For toiletries, I'm super basic personally. I like to find toiletry bags with a little bit of internal organization and a hook so that you can hang it up. If you bring liquids, be prepared at the TSA. You'll need liquids to be under 3.4 ounces and all grouped in a clear 1-quart bag. For tech, I've done a variety of things, but I like to have a little cable organizer like this one. And if the bag has internal pockets, I'll typically utilize those for quick access things like a power bank or a charging cable. You want a plan not only for what you pack, but also how you'll pack it. And you should utilize every nook and cranny of your bag. Now, some people roll their clothing, some people fold. I do both. I roll my tops and undies and stuff like that, but I fold my pants and shorts. I mentioned earlier, 90% of my clothing goes into packing cubes, but not all of it. I've noticed it's more space efficient to lay pants and shorts flat, and I'll typically put those in the very bottom of the bag. I pack socks, chargers, and other oddly shaped items like that packable day pack I mentioned into my extra pair of shoes if I'm packing an extra pair. And then I face the shoes like they would come in a box when you buy them. If you use packing cubes, you don't have to face them all the same way. I like to think of this like one big game of Tetris. The goal should be to have things tight and secure so nothing is shifting around and your suitcase can close easily. Do not forget to weigh your bag. Like I mentioned, most international airlines and some domestic airlines have weight restrictions for carry-ons. Weigh your bag. The easiest way to do this is to step on your home scale holding the bag, note the weight, and then weigh yourself without the bag. And just in case, I always put an air tag in my carry-on luggage in the off event that I do end up having to check it. Checked luggage gets lost all the time, and with a device like an air tag, I will know exactly where it is. My last tip is to stop packing things that you don't need. In this video, I share 12 things that experienced travelers no longer pack. It is chock full of things I used to pack but don't anymore, as well as a bunch of really clever travel products that you probably don't need. And hey, don't forget to hit the links in the description below to be entered to win the level 8 textured carry-on. Thank you so much for watching. Happy travels.